mean, Best Buy's numbers, holy cow. I mean, you got Best Buy just, blew out these numbers. And what they're doing is just pretty incredible to me. And I know, you saw the numbers, like, did you see Best Buy? And I love looking at Best Buy is something I follow, because you could see almost every single electronic device. You could see appliances. You could see, phones, TVs, what's selling, what people are spending, what are the trends are. Smart homes, is that developing more faster? It's just, it's a great core to listen to, and the numbers were fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And, not to be outdone, Dick's Sporting Goods then just absolutely blew it out.
Holy
but
cow.
Best Buy, we talked about, it's very simple. You said they partnered with Amazon. You've been in it. We were talking about just the concept for the consumer. Like, they have the products you want, but they have a great system in installing it for guys like me that know zero about hands-on stuff like that and are not even interested in it. But the stores are nice. They're clean. They're easy to navigate. They've done it right. They got the Geek Squad. They got Amazon. It was a beat and raise, right?
I mean, the numbers are so.
What is the
compared
what's
against
the stock doing?
So the
I know
revenue
this was the other day, but
the revenue was up. Yeah, check this out. The revenue was up 24%. Operating income more than doubled to $800 million. And people say, well, it's an easy compare against COVID. No, this is one of the stocks that were doing well during COVID, because people had to buy computers, they bought office furniture, they bought a whole bunch of stuff to stay at home. And so that revenue up 24%. I mean, that number's huge. Comps up 20% year over year. Again, not against easy comps. This is a company that thrived during COVID, right? 242% surge in domestic comparable online sales, right? So this was a big box retailer that was supposed to be put out of business by Amazon and Walmart and all this technology. This is something I've been talking about for a long time. Is a stock that I liked. I remember when I first recommended in the 50s, people were just like, you're crazy. I said, this is someplace I go to. I know that every electronic retailer that's a pure play electronic retailer has failed. It was a crazy Circuit City. I mean, nobody could get this right. These are the guys that got it right. It's the only company that makes selling electronics for retail work. All right. So what do they do with Amazon? They knew Amazon had hardware and they had to sell it. And it makes it easier to sell through this store. So instead of looking at Amazon and being like, oh my God, they partnered with Amazon, which is fantastic. How they separate from Walmart. You try going into a Walmart, into electronics section, and just ask any mildly difficult question. Just mildly difficult question. If you're looking at a game, you want to know anything about a video game, if you want to know anything about a TV and some of the specs and everything and whatever, they don't know. They'll take the box and read the back of the box to you, right? That's what they do. And it's so funny because I'm like, I know how to fucking read. I can read the back of the box, right? That's what they do at these places. You go into Best Buy, first, your experience is fantastic. When you go in there, it's an exciting store. They know what people want. They're putting the best products up front. You see these massive TVs that used to be super expensive. Now you can spend a couple $100s to get a 40-something inch TV. Again, not with your high specs and stuff like that, but it's a high definition. The experience is great when you're there. And then when you're there and you buy a TV, you're like, holy shit, I don't really know how to set this up. Well, here's Geek Squad. Because Geek Squad will help you. And here, pay them a couple $100. They'll come to your house. They'll set everything up. They'll teach you everything. Whatever you ask those guys a question. And every time I go there, I'm talking to those guys for at least 20 minutes. Because they know every single trend in real time. They know what's selling. They know what TVs are selling. They know what phones are selling. They know every single thing. That's their job. They have to be educated on the technology, on everything they sell in their departments. And it's really cool, as you guys know, to talk to someone that knows what the hell they're talking about. Instead of just having a person say, oh, wait, and look at the back of the box and read it to you, right? You see it all the time. But when you're looking at these numbers, margins were higher. These guys are now a digital company, right? I mean, they're competing with the Amazons and the Walmarts and stuff. And it's just incredible to see what they did and how they disrupted when everybody was calling for this company 10 years ago, 7 years ago, saying, goodbye, Best Buy is done. And that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's if you like to kind of geek out or nerd out like we do about this kind of stuff, it's just it's a great story. It's a great success story. And the big investor takeaway here is, listen, pay attention to management. I mean, management matters. I mean, it's boring. It's not exciting to say, hey, find a great company trading at a solid price or even a good price with great management and ride it. But that's the big takeaway. So pay attention to management and boots on the ground research. Frank, not to be more informative for our listeners, another investing lesson. We got to hit on Dick's real quick because then I got two things I want to touch on. Mm-hmm. But Dick's. So can we explain to people how Dick's is probably the most beautiful chart from January of this year till now?
What is the price? Hold on, let me bring it up this way I can show everybody. Go ahead.
133-ish. But from basically year to date, from January of 2021, the stock has gone from the bottom left to the upper right. And I mean, there's been some ups and downs, but damn, like you talk about set it and forget it. What's that infomercial where you remember those, put this in the 20-minute cooker, set it and forget it.
Set it and it's done. And
I love that. So that's incredible. And the lesson here is the emotional toughness, the mental toughness that it takes to be in investing in general. Frank, why don't you explain why Dick's is a better, cheaper buy today than it was 4 months ago?
I know, you know what? And I mentioned that in the opening because I was talking about housing and how everyone thinks housing is over and, you know, housing prices are up. And I mean, this is a stock I wanted to buy last quarter when they reported. I thought it was fantastic and it was, you know, well below 100. And, you know, I felt like, oh shit, I missed it because I go to Dick's Sporting Good. I like this name. I'm like, wow, you're seeing more demand. Plus I'm seeing numbers coming from, you know, the retailers that sell their stuff in Dick's. And Dick's sells all the good stuff, right? They don't sell, it's not like an outlet, right? It's you know, they sell all the new stuff from Nike to Under Armour, you know, to all these brands, Columbia, whatever. And, you know, I found myself going there. I found inventory there. It was great. I saw people online, were waiting online. Yeah, they had the points program. They just, you know, they went through the COVID thing. It was really tough. You're shutting all the stores. And now people want to go out. They're going out to these places. You're seeing retail and apparel with Nike, Under Armour, these numbers going crazy. I'm like, man, I really like this. Let me see the quarter first. They blow out the quarter. It takes off. And then I'm like, shit, right? And I'm like, damn it, I missed it. And that's the mistake I made. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I address my mistakes. You'll see me address my mistakes on this podcast more than address the winners that I have, which easily outweigh the losers, or I wouldn't be doing this, right? But you're going to learn the most from your losers. And the point here is you're seeing a stock that was pretty much crashed, and this is 2020, and just keeps going up and going up and going up. And if you look at the last year and even the last quarter, yeah, I think they reported in May, went from 84 to 90, 95. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, damn, I missed it. I just had all this time. Now you're looking at these numbers, Daniel, and I'm just showing you the chart here. But, you know, let's go over some of these numbers, which is pretty funny. It's one of the best quarters that I've seen in terms of how much more that they beat. So the earnings of $5.08 were $2.26 better than the estimates of $2.82, right? So revenues were 20% year over year. Store sales for second quarter increased nearly 20%. They raised guidance. Their 2022 full year guidance was around $8.50. They raised it to $13. They're expecting this year's comps to be up 20% compared to 10%. And they also issued a $5.50 per share dividend, special dividend, 21% increase in its quarterly dividend as well, and an increase in its planned share repurchases to a minimum of $400 million. Now, you look at the stock and you look at the earnings, right? Because when you're looking at earnings and you're looking at PE ratio, you want to see, okay, forward PEs, what they're going to earn in 2022. That's the forward PE. And they're going to earn around $13. So if you take, you know, price divided by earnings of where it is, this stock is trading at around 10 times forward earnings. So even though the stock is up tremendously, it's cheaper right now than it was at almost any time over the past year because of how they blew out the earnings. So you know what, Dale? For me, that's the mistake that a lot of people make.